So I'm making this video to go over a couple of basics of how to do bow stuff. I haven't seen a lot of videos that are really on YouTube that go over this. So to start out, I'm just gonna show you some basic, just a couple rounds of me just doing bow duels so you guys can see what you can pick out. So, some things that you may have seen in there was the fact that I was punching with the bow, or the fact that I kind of never stopped moving, or the fact that I generally tried to full charge arrows, or at least two charge arrows before trying to shoot them. So, I'm going to go over why I do some of that now. So, if you look at a bow, you can pull it back so it's different amount of times as shown by how far the bow is pulled back. If you're just getting into it, there are some texture packs that will also do a color indicator that relates to how much damage you do. So the first amount of charge you can do is less than a second, basically pull and release, or less than a tenth of a second. So this will do a single point of damage, so half a heart. This is really not good for just bow duels. It's a good spacing tool if you are in a sword duel or an axe duel, but just as a bow, it doesn't do much. So the next one is 0.2 seconds to 0.9 seconds, which is basically the two middle stages of pulled back. This will do about 5 hearts of damage. It might vary a little bit, but generally it's going to be 5 hearts. So that basically, that's going to be a lot of times where you can be shooting. And then if you pull it back for a full second, that is going to do about 6 to 8 damage. But then there's also a chance where you can randomly crit, and you will get a somewhere between 6 and 11 damage if you high roll, basically. However, if you hold an arrow back for 3 seconds, so 1, 2, 3, you now lose the ability to crit. And yeah, that's basically the basics of how damage works. So the next important skill is knowing how to dodge. So the way I classify it, there are two types of dodging. You have random dodging and reaction dodging. So random dodging is just when you're randomly jumping around. Creative. When you're randomly jumping around, basically just avoiding, trying to be unpredictable so the person can't hit you. And it looks like that, or from F5 it looks like that. Not the best at that in F5, but that's kind of what it looks like. Then versus reaction dodging is you wait till the person has shot the arrow and you kind of use the information on your screen to figure out how to dodge. So my general rule for reaction dodging that I've learned is if the arrow is in the space above your hotbar, so these 9 squares, if it's in that, it can hit you. If it is on the right or left of that, it could still hit you, especially if you move in that direction, but it most likely will miss you. Similarly, as long as you kind of are looking right at the opponent, if the arrow is above your crosshair, it's probably going to go over your head, but that's more an instinct thing. I would, for the time being, while you're still learning, just dodge the arrow if it's in that center section. So now I'm going to show you a video with putting bars above the hotbar for the whole video so you guys can see what it looks like, where to dodge, and that kind of thing. So, as you saw, it's not a perfect method, but if all the arrows that hit me were in that center section, and all the ones that missed me were out on the side of it or were aimed too low or too high. So, now we're going to get a last thing. You're probably going to ask me, how do I learn how to aim? If I'm being honest, that's not something I can really teach you. It's something you have to learn by practicing. At this point, I probably have about, I don't know, 100 hours in bows, if not more, and I still miss a fair amount of shots. But it's a skill that you need to put practice into. It's a skill you kind of need to learn for yourself. But you can certainly try. I will, in a second, I will show you what the video of my kit on PvP Legacy that I used to practice is. So now we're on PvP Legacy. I'm just gonna show you what the kit I used to practice is. So it's this kit. It is an infinity bow with an arrow. And then we are on Outpost. There it is, Outpost. Though Pine Arena would also work if you're just trying to work on aim. Outpost is what I'm on because it also helps you learn how to do obstacle usage. Settings-wise, I have it set to 3 rounds, bug regeneration, yada yada yada. The biggest things is uh, glowing after 2 minutes, and that you don't need to deal with food. So yeah, that's my kit on here. The other method I would suggest to use is going on MCCI and Dynaball, which I will show you how to do. Okay, so we're now on Dynaball. So some basics about how this works. Dynaball follows the same trajectory as an arrow does, so it's the same stuff to learn how to dodge it. So the way I use to dodge it, learn to dodge, is basically you tower up, you make a 1 by a lot long, and basically just run along and learn dodge arrows, or dodge TNT. So let's see if I can do it this game. Otherwise, I'm redoing that. So let's see if it's right here. It's this. You just make something like this, and then you just run along it, or even just stand still, and when anything comes near you, unlike what that guy just did. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, that was basically a lot of the basics of how bow combat works. It's a good starting point for things. You can always, especially if you actually know me, ask me questions about it later. If you have any questions, I will gladly help, probably. Also, I'm probably going to do a second video later on more advanced stuff, like how do you chase people out of cover, how to do bows with cover, that kind of thing. So, thank you for watching.